There is a quiet but profound shift that occurs in the body after the age of 50, a shift that invites a redefinition of what strength truly means. In earlier years, strength is often measured in visible terms: how much weight can be lifted, how fast one can move, how long one can endure. These expressions are rooted in intensity, in the capacity to generate force quickly and repeatedly. But as the body evolves, it begins to favor a different kind of intelligence, one that values efficiency over excess, coordination over brute effort, and awareness over speed. This is not a limitation, but a refinement of the biological system, where the goal is no longer to push the body to its limits, but to understand how it functions as an integrated whole. Muscles do not work in isolation, and joints are not designed to absorb uncontrolled force. Every movement we perform is a collaboration between multiple systems: muscular, skeletal, and neurological. When intensity becomes the primary focus, this collaboration can break down. Larger muscle groups may dominate the movement, while smaller stabilizing muscles become underutilized. Over time, this imbalance creates uneven force distribution, placing unnecessary stress on joints, particularly the knees. What feels like strength in the moment may, in reality, be compensation, an over-reliance on certain muscles to make up for the inactivity of others. Intelligent movement, on the other hand, is rooted in precision. It asks not how much force is being produced, but how that force is being directed. It considers alignment, tempo, and control. Simple movement, performed with awareness, can activate deeper layers of muscle that are often ignored during high-intensity exercise. These muscles play a critical role in stabilizing joints and maintaining proper movement patterns. When they are engaged consistently, they reduce the burden on more vulnerable structures. Allowing the body to move with greater ease and less strain, the nervous system plays a central role in this process. It is responsible for coordinating muscle activity, regulating tension, and ensuring that movements are smooth and efficient. As we age, the responsiveness of this system can decline if it is not actively engaged. High-intensity exercise, while beneficial in certain contexts, often prioritizes output over communication. Intelligent movement restores this communication. It slows the body down just enough to allow the brain and muscles to reconnect, or relearn patterns that may have become fragmented over time. This reconnection enhances not only strength but also balance, timing, and spatial awareness. There is also an energy economy at play. The body becomes more selective in how it uses its resources. Movements that are inefficient or unnecessarily forceful require more energy and create more fatigue. Intelligent movement minimizes waste. It teaches the body to achieve the desired outcome with the least amount of effort required. This does not mean the movements are easy, but rather that they are purposeful. Each action has intention, and each muscle contributes in a coordinated way. The result is a form of strength that feels sustainable, one that supports daily activities rather than depleting the body over time. This approach leads to a deeper sense of connection with the body. Movements become more fluid, more controlled, and more predictable. The fear of discomfort or injury begins to fade, replaced by a quiet confidence in the body's ability to respond and adapt. Strength in this context is no longer something that is forced into the body through intensity, but something that emerges naturally from consistent, mindful practice. The knee is often misunderstood as a structure that must bear the burden of movement on its own, as if it were designed to absorb and manage the full weight and force of the body independently. In reality, the knee is more of a messenger than a source, a joint that reflects the behavior of the muscles surrounding it rather than acting as the primary driver of strength. Its function is deeply dependent on the coordinated effort of the quadriceps at the front of the thigh, the glutes at the hips, and the muscles of the lower leg, including the calves and stabilizers around the ankle. When these muscle groups operate in harmony, the knee becomes a stable and efficient hinge, capable of guiding movements smoothly without excessive strain. There is a common assumption that the purpose of exercise is to make muscles stronger in isolation, to increase their capacity to generate force and endure repetition. While this idea holds some truth, it overlooks a deeper and more essential aspect of human movement: especially as the body ages. Strength alone, when developed without coordination, can become inefficient or even counterproductive. The body does not operate as a collection of separate parts. It functions as an interconnected system where muscles must communicate, adjust, and respond to one another in real time. Joint-friendly exercises are designed with this understanding at their core, shifting the focus away from isolated muscle effort toward coordinated patterns of movement that involve the entire system working together. When movement is approached through coordination, the emphasis changes from how hard a muscle works to how well it integrates with others. This integration is what allows the body to distribute force evenly, reducing unnecessary stress on vulnerable areas such as the knees. For example, a simple action like rising from a seated position is not just a task for the quadriceps. It involves the glutes, stabilizing the hips, the core maintaining alignment, and the lower legs adjusting balance. If any part of this chain is underperforming or out of sync, another part must compensate, often leading to strain or inefficient movement patterns. Joint-friendly exercises address this by encouraging all relevant muscles to participate in a balanced and timely manner. The nervous system plays a central role in this process, acting as the conductor of the body's internal orchestra. It determines which muscles activate, in what sequence, and with how much intensity. Over time, especially with repetitive habits or inactivity, these patterns can become less refined. Certain muscles may dominate while others remain underutilized, creating a form of internal imbalance that is not always immediately visible, but is often felt through discomfort or instability. Joint-friendly movements help retrain the nervous system by slowing the pace and emphasizing control. This allows the brain to reestablish clear communication with the muscles, improving the accuracy and efficiency of each movement. Another important aspect is the quality of motion. High-force exercises may build strength, but they do not always encourage awareness of how the body moves through space. Joint-friendly alternatives, on the other hand, prioritize smooth, controlled motion that respects the natural alignment of the joints. This type of movement enhances proprioception, the body's ability to sense its position and make subtle adjustments. As proprioception improves, so does balance and coordination, creating a more stable foundation for all physical activity. There is also a protective effect that emerges from this approach. When muscles are well coordinated, they act as a supportive network around the joints, absorbing and redirecting forces before they can accumulate in a single area. This reduces wear and tear over time and allows the joints to function within their intended range. The result is not just increased strength, but a form of resilience that supports long-term mobility. In this way, joint-friendly exercises offer a more complete understanding of what it means to be strong. They recognize that true strength is not simply the ability to produce force, but the ability to control it, distribute it, and adapt it to the needs of the moment, creating movement that feels both efficient and sustainable. Balance is often mistaken for a simple physical ability, something that can be measured by how long a person can stand on one foot or how steady they appear while walking. Yet beneath this outward expression lies a far more intricate process, one that is deeply rooted in the nervous system. Balance is not a static trait, but an active, dynamic skill that depends on constant communication between the brain, the muscles, the joints, and the sensory systems that inform them. It is the result of countless micro-adjustments happening beneath conscious awareness, each one contributing to the body's ability to remain stable in a world that is always shifting. At the center of this process is the nervous system's capacity to interpret information from multiple sources. The eyes provide visual cues about the environment. The inner ear detects changes in head position and movement. And receptors in the muscles and joints relay information about body position and tension. These signals are continuously integrated, allowing the brain to form a real-time map of where the body is in space. When this system is functioning well, adjustments are made almost instantly, keeping the body upright and coordinated without deliberate effort. As the body ages, this system does not disappear, but it can become less responsive if it is not regularly engaged. The signals may become less precise, the reactions slightly delayed, and the confidence in movement gradually reduced. This is not an inevitable loss, but rather a reflection of reduced stimulation. Like any other function in the body, the neural pathways responsible for balance require consistent use to remain sharp. When movement becomes more cautious or limited, these pathways receive less input, and their efficiency begins to decline. The encouraging reality is that balance can be retrained at any age because the nervous system retains a remarkable ability to adapt. This adaptability, often referred to as neuroplasticity, allows the brain to form new connections and refine existing ones in response to practice. Gentle, controlled exercises that challenge stability in a safe and progressive manner can reactivate these pathways. By introducing small variations in position and movement, the body is encouraged to respond, to adjust, and to learn once again how to maintain equilibrium. What makes this process particularly effective is the emphasis on awareness. When movements are performed slowly and with attention, the brain is given the opportunity to fully process the sensory information it receives. This strengthens the connection between perception and action, allowing the body to respond more accurately over time. The goal is not to create instability, but to introduce just enough challenge to stimulate adaptation without triggering fear or excessive strain. There is also a psychological dimension to balance that is often overlooked. Confidence plays a significant role in how the body moves. When individuals feel uncertain about their stability, they may adopt rigid or guarded movement patterns, which can actually reduce their ability to adjust and recover from small disturbances. As balance training progresses and the nervous system becomes more responsive, this sense of confidence begins to return. Movement becomes less about avoiding risk and more about trusting the body's ability to respond effectively. In this way, balance evolves from a passive condition into an active skill, one that can be nurtured and refined through consistent, mindful practice, allowing the body to move with greater ease and assurance in everyday life. There is a quiet misconception that meaningful physical change requires dramatic effort, long hours, and visible exhaustion, as if the body only responds when it is pushed to its limits. Yet the biological reality is far more subtle and in many ways more encouraging. The body is not designed to respond best to extremes, but to consistency. It adapts to what it experiences regularly, not occasionally. Small, repeated signals movements performed with control and intention gradually reshape how muscles function, how joints are supported, and how the nervous system coordinates the entire process. Control is what gives these movements their effectiveness. Without it, repetition becomes noise rather than instruction. When a movement is rushed or performed without awareness, the body may complete the task, but it does not necessarily learn from it. Certain muscles may take over, others may remain inactive, and the overall pattern becomes inefficient. Controlled movement, on the other hand, provides clarity. It allows each part of the body to contribute appropriately, reinforcing balanced activation and proper alignment. This clarity is what the nervous system uses to refine its signals, improving coordination and stability over time. There is also an important relationship between control and safety. As the body ages, tissues such as cartilage, tendons, and ligaments may become less tolerant of sudden or excessive force. This does not mean they are weak, but that they require a more thoughtful approach. Controlled movements reduce unnecessary impact and allow these tissues to adapt gradually. They create an environment where strength can develop without provoking irritation or strain. This is particularly important for joints like the knees, which depend on smooth, well-coordinated motion to remain comfortable and functional. Consistency amplifies this effect. A single session, no matter how well executed, provides only a temporary stimulus. It is the repetition of that stimulus over days and weeks that leads to lasting change. Each session builds upon the previous one, reinforcing neural pathways and strengthening muscular patterns. Over time, what once required conscious effort begins to feel natural. Movements become more efficient, requiring less energy while producing better results. This gradual progression is often less noticeable in the moment, but its impact becomes clear in everyday activities. Standing, walking, bending where ease replaces effort. There is a certain patience required in this process, a willingness to trust that small steps are not insignificant. In a culture that often values speed and intensity, this approach can feel counterintuitive. Yet the body operates on its own timeline, one that cannot be rushed without consequence. By respecting this timeline, by showing up consistently and moving with care, The body is given the opportunity to adapt in a way that is both deep and sustainable. Over time, this combination of consistency and control creates a foundation that supports not just strength, but resilience. The body becomes better equipped to handle the demands of daily life, to recover from minor stresses, and to maintain function without discomfort. What begins as a simple routine evolves into a reliable system of support, one that continues to serve the body well into later years, reinforcing the idea that lasting mobility is not built through intensity alone, but through steady, mindful practice.